The Sarsilmaz Mega, let's check it out. One pistol that was an enigma for Western countries for many years was the CZ-75. Designed in 1975 behind the Iron Curtain in Czechoslovakia, the patents that were placed were just internal in the country of Czechoslovakia. Once the design came out, a lot of different companies began to make CZ-inspired CZ-75s. And today we're going to take a look at the Sarsilmaz 2000 Mega. And this is definitely heavily inspired by the CZ-75. There are a lot of similarities, but there are a lot of differences. The CZ-75 design has been very popular for decades for a lot of good reasons. And one of the biggest is just the superior ergonomics. The way this gun is designed, it is made to fit in the hand. And so we're going to go ahead first, of course, and make sure the gun is unloaded, empty magazine, and the chamber is empty. Now you'll notice the way that the grip comes up, it really allows you to get high up on the pistol. And then there's some undercuts right here behind the trigger guard. So it's a very ergonomic fit. Now, one of the big things though about CZ, and the reason why that it shoots so well, is that it has internal slide rails. And that means that the slide doesn't come on the outside of the frame, it actually rides on the inside. You can kind of see right here, we'll look a little bit more when we break the pistol down, but it allows the slide to have constant contact with the frame. And so it keeps it a really smooth shooting firearm. A lot of the new polymer pistols, the slide rails are about ½ inch in the front and back. And this just gives you a very smooth feed. The gun is all steel, which also helps when you're out at the range. Now that kind of hurts it for a concealed carry handgun, but it really tames the recoil, even though 9mm is very manageable. The frame and the slide are both alloy forged, and so they have a lot of strength to them. Sarsilmaz has been around since 1880, and it's the largest privately owned firearm company in Turkey. They actually import guns to 78 different countries, and they also provide a lot of arms for NATO. There's a lot of argument about Turkey, but this is a gun review channel, and that's mainly what we're going to focus on. But the quality of these firearms from Sarsilmaz are really exceptional, and the surface, the finish is really nice. These are made in an ISO 9001 compliant quality control, and the factory is state-of-the-art. So we're getting a really good price for a firearm, and yet the quality is just really there. One thing here, we have the grips, which are a kind of a plastic polymer type grip. They are a little different than your standard CZ-75, so they're not necessarily interchangeable. And we've got a CZ-75 we're going to bring out and do some comparisons. But one of the big things about the CZ design is the low bore axis. I mean, it is really low to the hand. And one of the great things about that is when the slide itself, the mass of the slide comes back, the lower it rides to your hand, the smoother it's going to fire, the quicker you're going to be able to get follow-up shots. So I really enjoy shooting CZs. And you can see right here, it's a very low bore axis, but it's also, with this beaver tail, it gives you a good grip on the pistol. Now, one of the things about the controls of this pistol that are a little different is it's on safe now, and which typically for the 1911 and a lot of other frame-mounted safeties, you bring it down for fire. With the Mega, you actually push up, and that brings it into the fire position. It has a fairly large slide stop as well, which makes it easy to grab hold of. The one great thing too about this pistol design is that it's very thin. And I love how the lines are so well balanced, and again that shows up at the range. Now you do get two 17-round magazines. This actually is a CZ-75 magazine, and it's a Metgar mag. This is fully compatible with your CZ-75 mags. It comes with two 17 rounders. Guys, I'll tell you, just with the shooting that we've done with this pistol, again, I've taken this gun out 3 times to the range, and I can't put my hands on the Sarsilmaz magazines, which they're good quality. But it does use the CZ-75s, and I've used those interchangeably without any kind of issues. The mag well does have a bevel to it, which helps, especially since the magazine comes up to a point, and so it makes magazine changes really fast. You have your magazine release right here, and it does eject the magazines. The magazine release can be switched to the other side. There's even a cut in the grip, so that's no big deal. You have a squared off trigger guard, and there is no accessory rail because of the style of this pistol. I mean, this is a classic design that's been around since 1975. Here we have 3-dot sights. They are steel, and you can see it's kind of large here. You could do one-handed reloads, and the front sight, there's a roll pin that fits this. So these can be changed out, but I'm not really sure what they're compatible with. Here we have the CZ-75B, and I believe these are hoe grips that I have on here, just to kind of dress it up a little bit. But again, these grips are not interchangeable. The guns themselves are very similar. Obviously, you can see the family resemblance. And both with the ergonomics are about the same. One of the things that's different is that the slide on the Mega has been relieved right here. And so it's actually about an ounce lighter than the CZ-75B. So, you know, it just gives you a little less heft. And that really allows for some natural pointing. I mean, it's one of the things about the CZ, and I've always thought, is that it is a very natural pointing handgun. So I can bring it up, and typically the sights are lined up and ready to go. But most of the changes here are very minimal. You're really going to get the CZ-75 experience. But one of the things that I'll mention right up front, since we have them together, the Sarsilmaz Mega runs about, I think the retail price is $407, but I saw it for about $360 was one of the lowest prices. With the CZ-75, $460 was about what I was seeing as far as the lowest price. So you're getting about a $100 difference. A couple of the differences though is you can see that the CZ has a larger ring on the hammer, and the serrations on the rear of the slide are much tighter on the CZ, a little more open. One of the things about having that internal slide rail is there's not a lot of slide. And so if you're going to grab this, you've got to really get hold of it to grab it. A lot of slides, they have longer, thicker slides, and so it's a lot easier to grab. Here you can see the anti-glare serrations on the CZ-75, and on the Mega, you don't have any. But it is a very flat slide. Now the gun has been safety checked, so we're going to check the trigger, and if you'll notice, when I pull the trigger, the hammer actuates. So that makes it double action. It's a fairly strong pull, probably about 10 pounds. We'll check it on the Lyman trigger gauge. But it's a very smooth pull. It does stack up right toward the end, but it's still very smooth. Now for single action, let me go ahead and bring back the hammer. Anytime that you enter a magazine and put a fresh round in the chamber, the hammer is going to be in the rear position. And so here we have a little bit of take up right here, and then a decent break. It's not super crisp, but it's a really nice break. And we're going to check the reset right about there, and then back to the break. And let's check the CZ-75. Very smooth, very nice. I don't think it's any lighter than the Mega. Single action. I like the CZ trigger a little better. Now we'll check the trigger pull weight with our Lyman trigger gauge. We're going to do the double action first. 11 pounds. 11 pounds, 7.5 ounces. So it's pretty hefty. Single action. 3 pounds, 13.9 ounces. 3 pounds, 10.4 ounces. And I want to thank Freedom Munitions for sponsoring the ammo. You get a 5% discount using Suit00 at Freedom Munitions website. Any of the CZ-75 inspired pistols are just super smooth shooting. One of the reasons why is because of the low bore axis, but just as important, those internal slide rails. There is contact between the slide and the receiver the whole time the gun is firing. So it makes it a very flat shooting handgun. Combine that with the ergonomics that are traditional CZ, it's just a really great gun to take to the range. It's a very natural pointing handgun. Of course, we had no malfunctions. We were using mainly Freedom munitions. I actually took this out to the range on 3 separate occasions and shot about 700 rounds through this pistol. You know, it's one of those guns that when you're shooting it, you just enjoy, continue to shoot it. I just found myself reloading magazines. And, you know, and the great thing is, again, is that this is compatible with any of your CZ-75 magazines, which, you know, are in abundance. Man, it's just got those internal slide rails, man. It just makes it so smooth. So smooth.
That is the value of that CZ-75, I think. That and it reduces the slide dimensions overall.
Right. Yeah, it makes it smaller. Yeah, lighter. So I'd forgotten my target stand. And so I just ended up shooting steel just to show you what kind of accuracy you can get with these pistols. Now let's disassemble the firearm. We're going to drop the magazine. Again, make sure the gun is unloaded. Now with these 2 little dots, you want to line them up just like this. And then right here, you want to push your takedown lever, which is that small button, out. Now typically, especially with the newer gun, I take my magazine and just push it. And then I can pull my slide stop right out. Then the slide just comes right over and out. Here you can see the slide rails come all the way down and it rides really low in the frame. And then here are the frame rails. Now here we have our guide rod and guide rod spring. It's not captive, it is a stainless guide rod, and these are excellent. They're not the polymer, which a lot of people do not like. Then we have our barrel. We'll pull it out. It's a 4.5-inch barrel. It's highly polished. I mean, this this thing is really super polished. The feed ramps, of course, are polished as well. And there's a slight trough, and this will really give you more positive feeding. Again, guys, we had no malfunctions whatsoever with this handgun. Here you can see the interior of the slide is just exceptionally done. I mean, the quality, there are no tool marks in here. I mean, it's just a very well finished interior. And that's one of the places a lot of companies will cut corners. Now, you can see right here with this guard, I mean, it is beautiful. Here we have the CZ-75 on the left, and then the Mega on the right. And you can see the interior. I mean, there are some similarities, but there are definitely some differences. Not really sure about any kind of parts compatibility, but you can see the differences. I'll tell you one thing right up front. The CZ slide will not fit on the Mega frame. The slide is just a little bit thick. And guys, that's all you need to do to field strip the pistol. To reassemble, drop in your barrel, recoil spring and guide rod, just in reverse order. Bring it over our slide rails. Line up your 2 dots. Bring in your slide stop. And we're good to go. Has a nice plastic box that it comes with. Owner's manual. A lot of detail. Comes with a cleaning rod and a bore mop. And it also comes again with the 2 17-round magazines. Now from TR Imports, who imports these, you can get the Sarsilmaz magazines for about $21.95. The standard CZ-75 magazines on Gun Mag Warehouse are $34.95, and those are factory mags. But you can get Metgar mags, which make the CZ mags, for $20.99 on the Gun Mag Warehouse website. And I want to thank TR Imports for sending this pistol for the test and evaluation. I always love to get a really nice CZ variant out to the range. There's so many different styles, but yet they're just excellent shooting handguns. If you don't have a CZ-75 or one of the variants, this is a great option. Or if you have some already and you want to add to it, this is also a great option. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. put a patent. But this is from, but this is the 10.4 ounces. It's a stainless steel guide rod and it is steel.